Let's go, Brandon. I agree.
Let's go, Brandon. Time's up. Hey, shut up, music. Welcome. My name is Ike. This is Switzerland.playit with the daily news, the angry game news. I'm not covering only game news, but mainly. I try at least. Every day, 10 a.m. Eastern on this channel. On Rumble, mainly, primarily, Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. I don't care for my language though, so if I'm gonna get kicked on Kick or Twitch or YouTube, it is what it is, right? But it's my channel, so I'm gonna not keep my mouth shut here. So far, I had no troubles with Rumble, and I have to praise Rumble. When I praise Rumble, they deserve praise, besides critiques, right? I'm still using Rumble Studio, and since yesterday you can schedule stuff, and I love it. It seems to work perfectly fine. I can make up all the URLs I need, you know, for my article on my website, switzerland.playit.com. I'm just posting like the same stuff there and link the video from Rumble there too, and all that stuff, all that goodness. So just to have an archive, at least text-wise, on my web page. And yes, Rumble Studio seems to work perfectly fine since I started this newscast 3 weeks ago. That's the third week. And with the scheduling, it makes everything even more streamlined. You know, I love it. Ahoy, ouch my junk. So I can bring you the news. And speaking of news, how about we just go into and get annoyed or maybe happy of certain things. Less annoying or less happy, making just facts, I guess. The Switch 2 sold very well in the first week, and I was though skeptical, is it going to stay on this high level of selling, you know? And it might slow down, I don't know. I don't know, it's the second week we got just through with Switch 2 sales, at least in Japan, because they are a little bit ahead of us, right? So we have more actual contemporary numbers from there. So in the first week, we're gonna just watch mainly the numbers here from Switch 2. In the first week, we sold in Japan almost 950,000 units. The Switch 2. Doesn't matter if it's bundled or not. It's just the units itself which is included here. It's about 80%. It's with the bundle Mario Kart World, right? And the second week, we had a big drop off. Like it's roughly 16% of the number previously. So it's not even a fifth of the whole sales number from the first week. Of course, that could also be because there are not enough units out there. I doubt it, though, in Japan, that they don't have more units to give to the people. It's just a big drop-off, and it's a usual drop-off. You don't sell the same amount of hardware usually when you have enough anyway. But it's a bigger drop-off. And I was just wondering, is it a bigger drop-off than the Switch 1? And actually, it is a slightly bigger drop-off than the Switch 1. So I tried to research Switch 1 numbers. And we have here 313,000, almost 314,000 units in Japan in the first week. And in the second week, they sold almost 62,000, which is almost 20%. So a drop off of 80%. You know, we have a higher drop off of the sales from the Switch 2. The trend might be not there because it's only the two data points, so it doesn't tell us really the whole story. I just found it interesting to check it out, especially because it might have not enough units. It might. We don't know, though. We don't know because Nintendo is not going to tell us, oh yeah, we ran out of units. I don't know where to get those now. Let's see how it's going to develop from now on, though. How about silly drop-offs in movies and Marvel universes. Tom Holland, start taking notes. That's a command to him. Thunderbolt star knew that big new adventure twist for many years. I haven't said a thing to anyone. So it's about this girl. She's known from Dreyfus. It's known from Seinfeld, pretty much. Everybody knows that face from Seinfeld first. And Marvel, I think Marvel is trying really hard to stay in the news, that people talk about them the whole time. I don't think it really is working. People seem not to care really, but they try to keep in the headlines and all that. So we had her telling us that she knew years ahead and kept her mouth shut. Not like Mark Ruffalo and Tom Holland, which spilled in interviews already, concluding the Avengers title, for example, Infinity War and all that stuff, right? Ooh, no, you spoiled the whole story for us. But Thunderbolt's star, Julia Dreyfus, is showing everyone else how it's done after revealing she knew about the Marvel movies' big Avengers twist years in advance. Thunderbolts, I haven't seen it. I have no desire to see it myself. I don't know how you all feel about it. But I wouldn't call anybody in that movie a star. And even her in the movie, a star, I highly doubt it, man. I highly doubt it that she is like this big character in it, to be honest. Yeah, whatever. Do the Elaine dance, Ike. I don't know what the Elaine dance is, and I think I don't want to know. I met with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and executive producer Luis Desposito many years ago when they first pitched me this whole idea of playing Val, and they pitched me the new Avengers. Louis Dreyfus told Entertainment Weekly. During the Thunderbolts ending, Val, her plot to use Sentry as her own golden goose having been foiled, hastily shuffled into a backup plan, rechristening the Thunderbolts group as her new adventures. So she knew all about the plot twist and all that shit and kept her mouth just shut. I just wanted to point out that they pretend it's a big deal and that she is such an amazing character. Not only in the movie, but also in real life. She has also to portray herself as this amazing figure, amazing human being who can keep secrets to her. She knew years ahead about the whole plot twist. That they are actually, the Thunderbolts are actually the new Adventures. Yeah, Avengers, not Adventures. Who cares? I just found it interesting to point out that they really think very highly of themselves. It feels like, at least. OFP. Who thinks highly about themselves? Maybe Embracer. Embracer is this big conglomerate in Sweden which has a lot of IPs. Embracer has reduced its workforce by over 1,800 people in the past year. And the whole article is about numbers, how many they laid off, and what sub companies they are creating for their IPs and all that. It's very interesting, but I wanted to show that they try this ESG and the DI crap still. And my markings just went away. Why, browser? Yeah, pretty much those two. At Embracer Group, we aim to maintain a safe and inclusive workplace where all employees can grow professionally, the annual report reads. We focus on developing employee skills and competences on monitor their well-being through performance dialogues and at the individual level and other measures. Diversity and inclusion is in skill sets and perspectives are key components of the approach taken to create a dynamic and inclusive workspace. Inside me, always a little piece of my humanity dies when I hear these days inclusivity and diversity and all those stupid words, they have been destroyed in my mind, which should be good words. You should connect diversity and inclusivity with good aspects in your life, but all those companies destroy those words, right? It adds, we understand the challenges posed by divestment, transformations, and organizational change. Yet we strive to maintain an environment where talents are nurtured and empowered. So, and I know why they do that, especially as a CEO in the management, higher management. They need to use those words to make it sound like less offensive when they lay off people. Like, yeah, I mean, we had to, because restructuring a company is a hard task. It's really difficult, and we try to include like every mindset and all that bullshit, and so that's why they use such words to make it sound like more appealing to the press, mainly, actually. And yeah, in my mind it doesn't work. You're laying off to save money primarily in the first place. Layoffs are the first measurement always in any bigger company, any bigger corporation. It's the first measurement to save money, especially in restructuring, how they call it. Just layoffs. No more paying to people. Very simple. Yeah, this whole article is like a read for business people and how they should structure their language to not being like critiqued, criticized. Ahoy, Nutty! Her star burned out 20 years ago. I mean, she is kinda still hot for an older woman, right? Kinda. But yes. She even wasn't back then in Seinfeld a star. She was just this main character, female character in the show. Other than that, she had, I think, her own show later on, 5 years later after Seinfeld, or 10 years after Seinfeld. It was a big meh. But yes, she tries to keep herself in the headlines. Needs about another 99% reduction. What Embracer should be about, right? Orwellian doublespeak. It's not. That's the thing. It's not really doublespeak. It's more like just diffusing language, like confusing people who read it. Oh, they are actually like for inclusion, but they can't. But they try really hard. They try to keep all the talented and inclusive people. The article talks also about the female aspect in management and all that crap, They just use that language to look good in press. In the end, you're laying off people. It's a normal procedure in restructuring, in saving money. Who might have saved money too? Maybe Tony Hawk, who knows? This was a little news and it's still going around for some reason. And I thought, why not pointing it out? Because many people played some Tony Hawk in their life cycle of video gaming, right? At least one band is bummed to be cut from Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. And it is the, what is it? Alien Ant Farm? I always twist that. And Alien Farm. Alien Ant Farm, which were in the originals included, their songs, but this time they are excluded. It is a bummer that we weren't invited or that they didn't include us. Absolutely. Corso told the BBC. We understand that they are trying to bring some new stuff onto these releases. And if you gotta make cuts, you gotta make cuts. I don't know why it had to be us. I feel like our song was really good on there, and it did really well. I kind of get it, said Mitchell. That skating feels a little bit more like the punk side, and we are not a punk band. But I think that's what makes us a cool soundtrack, is a collection being different. Yeah, you're not wrong with those statements, and who knows why it was really yeeted from their new remake here. And but I have to also to say, these days, punk in video games, punk has died. I think punk has died in general, music-wise. You have only old tracks, which we might enjoy as punk. But like punk in video games, especially Tony Hawk, is not punk. It's just a sports game-ish title, but it's not punk anymore. You have not the stoners who go skating and afternoon they come home after they smoke the Mary J, right? And play video game Tony Hawk and being stoned playing that. They might be just stoner, but they don't care for punk, you know. That's my point. If the band wants to blame anyone, they can directly blame Tony Hawk himself. In March, the skateboard legend and star of the franchise explained that he was the one who made the call on removing some classic songs from the upcoming remaster in order to replace them with new tracks. But really didn't explain why. Yeah, I mean, that's life. I played, I think the very first one on PlayStation a little bit. Other than that, I wasn't not super interested in Tony Hawk. Make Orwell fiction again. Punk started dying in the 80s. You mean it was born and died right away off? Oh, they are gimping the music on the HPS 3 and 4. At least they yeeted the track from Alien Ant Farm. Ahoy, haste. That's the news. Speaking of news, down in the video description, always you have the article linked. Go check them out for yourself. Read the whole thing and even critique me if I got something terrible wrong. If I got it only a little bit wrong, keep your mouth shut. Nobody cares. What we should care about is maybe about Steam. Steam is testing new accessibility options for Steam OS like UI scaling. Valve released a new Steam client beta today and it's focused on adding accessibility options to the big picture mode on PCs and Steam OS on handheld PCs like the Lenovo Legion Go S and the Steam Deck. And you see, like, they have new options here. You can change different things, but mainly the UI scale is the main attraction here. And it works only in big picture mode. So don't think like, oh, finally we can make in Steam itself the rest bigger and all that shit. Unfortunately, no. Unfortunately, very fucking no. I wish it would be a thing. Maybe they can integrate it in the regular client mode, but at least we got something here, you know. And reduced motion, color filtering for a little bit more eye weak people, you know, eyesight weak people, which is a good thing. There you have some new updates going on with Steam OS in big picture mode or on the Steam Deck with Steam OS, which Haste might find it interesting, right? Oh, Godzilla! Did she have a line in his head because he is an ass? What? Did he shave a line in his head? No, I think he had always this style. I don't remember him never had this line in his hairstyle. I'm pretty sure it was always a thing for him. That is his brand, I think. Little Nightmares Showcase set for June 24th. That's just a little news, but I think it's important because Little Nightmares 1 and 2 I played on my channel. Go check it out. Very beloved little franchise and has a unique visual artistical style, and I'm waiting at least still on 3, and in this showcase they might show 3. We don't know really what's gonna happen, but on the 24th, go check it out. I thought that was an important news. For good games, we should report on good games too if they try to do something new for the people, right? Oh, cool. Although I use desktop Linux, I'm not currently using SteamOS. Yeah, but you might go in the Steam Deck even if you use any other OS in the big picture mode, right? You might use the big picture mode, which is included in that mainly. We are already on the main attraction. Why not? Why not keep it tight today? Why not? Can take more time on the big news here. And the big news is, at least I think it's important to point it out, that James Gunn had issues with the very first teaser of Superman. Superman's viral flying shot isn't in the movie, as DC boss James Gunn admits. I forgot to look at this closely before it was made public. I'm going to tell you why he's an absolute moron, and I think that is a sign that this movie is cooked, that the whole studio might be cooked if you state something like that, because I'm going to show you. Just chill the fuck out. James Gunn holds his hands up to Superman's viral flying scene landing with a thud and reveals it's not in the final movie due to not being a finished visual effects shot. Back in January, some eyebrows were raised after a TV spot featured David Cornswett's DC hero flying around in wintry landscape close to the Fortress of Solitude. Instead of looking like the finished product, commenters noted that it seemed to be down to bad CGI or special effects. There's absolutely zero CG in his face, Gunn wrote on Threads not long after the clip's mini backlash. People's face can look different when you put a wide-angle lens up close. The background plate in Svalbard is 100% real, as is David. And you have here one shot of this infamous little scene, which will not be included in this kind without adding CGI to it, like James told us. Now, though, Gunn has offered more of a mea culpa of sort in a new interview with Entertainment Weekly. It was a TV commercial, and it wasn't a finished visual effects shot. So the part of him flying, it was a photograph of his face and him flying. It was a photograph of a drone flying in front of an actual background. So all the pieces were real, but it was incorporated in kind of a funky way, Gunn explained. The Superman director added, I didn't love the shot, so it's not even the shot that's in the movie. Sometimes I'm pretty strict about when I'm going through a trailer and looking at each of the shots. But sometimes the commercials, I forget to look at this closely. So that one kind of got by me. That's really fucking bad. I'm gonna explain, I'm gonna show you why. Superman, starring David Cornsworth, Rachel Brosnahan, and Nicholas Hoult, kicks off the live-action DCU under the stewardship of DC Studios' James Gunn and Peter Safran. Other projects in the DCU Chapter 1 include Lanterns and the upcoming Clayface movie. Clayface, I don't think I've ever seen the Clayface in any cartoon or anything like that. I'm a comic reader, so Lantern, at least I saw the movie, with Ryan Reynolds. And when you don't know anything about lanterns, you at least get an idea what the lanterns do and are, what they can, what powers they kind of have. Doesn't matter if it's not like accurate with the suits and all that, but you get an idea. And it's a big thing, the lanterns in general. Clayface? Whatever, man. I think you're just wasting money. It might be a good story. Who knows, right? Speaking of good stories, in the past, a few days ago, Sir Prometheus, ahoy! In the past few days, maybe 3 days ago or something like that, we got news. I didn't cover that part. James Gunn told us all, like, Yeah, I'm eating personally like scripts that aren't good. I'm not gonna even like consider making movies if the script is not like absolutely almost perfect and crap like that. So he made those statements. And now he stated and admitted pretty much, yeah, I overlooked this. I mean, I got like the whole studio. I'm the chef of this new studio. I'm in charge of everything. But I missed like this little thing. It's not important. I'm annoyed by it myself somehow. But yeah, it got past me. I didn't take a closer look to it. My baddie. That would be fine. It's human behavior if you don't pay close attention to every little detail. But it's your first big ass project. This movie has to be a big fucking success for your new studio you're building up, for the new DCU. It has to be a big fucking success. Nearly everything should be perfect. But the first trailer, the first picture, the first posters, everything looks pretty cheap. Everything looks eh. I don't even want to download that movie right away, maybe when it comes out. I don't even want to watch it maybe on streaming right away when it comes out. And you might piss many, many fans off too. I don't know about the fans, but for normies, I don't know. If normies keep a little bit their attention to the whole hero movie stuff, they might be not happy about such admissions, because he himself spread that stuff back in January 26th. He posted, he was the guy who posted that on X right away. He had the oversight, and now he tells us, yeah, he didn't look at it correctly. That's the trail. It's all linked below. Everything is linked below, I'm talking about. So he might have messed it up. I have zero hopes for this movie, to be honest. The more I see, the less appealing it is, this whole thing to me, man. I think it's gonna do barely okay, meaning making money back to cover all the costs, the production cost, but it's not gonna make profit, and because it might not be the biggest success the last, I don't know, 10 years DC had as movie productions. If it's not going to be like the massive hit, the upcoming movies are going to be even less sought after by the viewers. If this is not going to be like a massive successful with the propaganda from people to people telling you, hey, shit, this movie, forget all the trailers, this movie is amazing, you should go watch it. If that is not going to happen, he is cooked. He can leave his fucking position as DC boss. Yeah, it has to be a massive success. But everything, I have all kinds of little red flags all over the place, man. What the fuck? I'd rather hear your native tongue. Give me subtitles. What you're saying gets lost in your accent. Does it? I don't think so. People understand. I've got a little interest in it so far. Ahoy, folksam. Ahoy, Sir Prometheus. They pulled a Marvel TV on it. The Superman looks gay as hell. I mean, he's like a beefy enough guy. He looks like physiologically fine as Superman. His face, a tiny bit too much baby face, His hairstyle I don't like. Like I said, too many little red flags. Too many little red flags. What you're saying is interesting. It's how you say it's god awful. I can't do it anymore. Rumble, give me subtitles so I can mute and read. No. Shut up. Just give me your money as usual, Sir Prometheus. Don't be mean to me, man. I have feelings too. No, people understand me. Shut up. Yeah, I think this movie might be very, very cooked. And it seems like at least my viewers here have no interest in getting a ticket for this one. Why would the Man of Steel need padding on his suit? Good question. It's super padding, you know. And he's fighting this Ultraman who is essentially, I heard, like Superman, like same strong and all that shit. But yeah, I think it's just cooked. I think it's just cooked. Man of Steel. And they put too many like characters in the first appearance in the new universe. Everything not good. What might be not good is Switch news. More Switch news. At least for third-party games, it seems like not going super well. Most people are buying the Switch 2 for Nintendo games so far because firstly, we got not a lot of releases, third-party games who are exclusive, you know. That's the main reason why those third-party games are not doing amazingly. Switch 2's non-Nintendo games are flopping for so many reasons. Since time immemorial, the axioms been that you buy a Nintendo console to play Nintendo games. Yes, no. Nintendo and Super Nintendo had a lot of third-party games, amazing third-party games. So people didn't just bought it only for Nintendo games themselves, third-party games. The only game I still have for Super Nintendo in my box, it's a little bit rough. I don't know if you can see it. I can try to show it to you. That black box there, Killer Instinct. That's the only thing it's remaining. I have also the soundtrack with it. So many people bought like the old consoles for sure, for third-party games. Amazing, big libraries of third-party games, right? But it seems that's not the case with the Switch 2. Third-party games made by other publishers are worthwhile, but typically those are sort of experiences you can find on other platforms as well. For Nintendo's latest hardware, the Switch 2, things are trending in a similar direction, at least for now. As reported by the Game Business, stats for early Nintendo Switch 2 show that adopters in the United States and UK are mostly purchasing the console for games like Mario Kart World and Legend of Zelda Tears of Kingdom. Apparently, most games outside of those developed by Nintendo are selling in very low numbers. The Game Business quotes one anonymous publisher saying that the numbers are coming in below their expected estimates. Yeah, anonymous is always a little bit fishy, stinky, smelly, and not to take too serious, always. If you're Capcom, just say it. I'm not saying I know it's Capcom. I'm just picking like the first name I know. It came to my mind. The one exception is for Cyberpunk 2077, a much anticipated port for a game that stands out above other third-party options. CD Projekt Red's futuristic RPG had a messy launch, and through the course of several updates and expansion has enjoyed somewhat of a renaissance in the last couple of years, now that it resembles the original vision pitched to fans. Cyberpunk 2077 is also packaged beautifully with a cartridge that references something in the actual game. Beyond that, the neo-noir adventure has the benefit of functioning as a showcase for the power of the Switch 2, especially since it wasn't available for the first console. The success of Cyberpunk 2077 on Switch 2 was practically preordained. Yeah, and they put the whole game on it, and they communicated like the game can be played without online services and all that. So that might have also a saying in the success in it. It's a 64 gigabyte cartridge. The whole game is on it. You know, you can enjoy it, and visually it seems to look absolutely fine. It looks really good. It shows like the power of the Switch 2. Capcom. Yeah, maybe. No, Capcom was at least like honest. I told you that on the different news that they don't consider the Nintendo Switch 2 cartridge, the key cards, as physical sales. Actually, they consider them as completely digital sales because it's also interactive with the online services and all that shit, right? Oh, John Thunder on YouTube there. There are a few reasons things could be unfolding this way beyond the obvious factor that the reason to buy a Nintendo console is for the Japanese developers' exclusive games. Many of the titles available at launch are ports for games that are already playable on all major platforms, including the first Switch. The Switch 2 and its pricing initially caused some ruckus as users balked at the $449.99 price tag, which makes it more expensive than some models of the PS5 and Xbox. Combined with the higher prices for games accessories like the Joy-Con 2, there's a real possibility of some consumers feel selective in their purchases. Well, no shit, for that's without taxes, so you pay $500 in general on average. $500, yeah, you might consider like watching your money where it goes, for sure. The Switch 2 launched during an era where the price of eggs is a regular talking point, and the reality is that the console is a luxury item. I agree. Who wants to buy 80 or 90 or to $100 games on Switch 2 when you can get them cheaper on the other platforms? Very true. Fist bumps by Nutty. Did I say ahoy Nutty? I didn't say ahoy Nutty. Ahoy Nutty. To you, Archmajong, by Nutty. Personally, I've only bought Mario Kart so far, but it's not because I don't want other games. It does help that backwards compatibility means my choices don't feel limited on the Switch 2. If anything, the improved power is giving me more reason to revisit games I already own. I imagine I'm not alone in that, though funnily enough, many of the older games enticing me are, you guessed it, made by Nintendo. I mean, why should anybody in their right mind, to be honest, buy a Nintendo Switch 2 to play older Nintendo games when they are like available, maybe not completely through legal channels, but at least emulate many of those with better graphics, better upscaling, whatever, right? On a Steam Deck. And when you have the Steam Deck, you have more games on your fingertips, you know. All the libraries you can get, like Xbox games for Windows. You can get the Steam library. It is not enough appealing for me to buy ever a Switch for those reasons, to play older Switch games, for example. This backwards compatibility, I love it. It should be always the case with any new console. But only for that reason, Switch 2, spending money on that, you're way more limited than with a Steam Deck. I don't think that's a good idea to buy it for older Nintendo games. I run emulators on my Steam Deck. That's what I'm saying. Everyone waiting for Switch Elden Bloods. That might sell a few console units for sure, Nutty. But how many? That's the question, really, too. A neighbor of mine justified Nintendo Switch 2 just because the older games from Switch 1 have better graphics. I think that's stupid. Yeah, they are not like amazing better. It's just the upscaling is there, you know, high resolution. But the DLS is like, that's the limit of it. You're just not gonna get more a lot of stepping effects on the edges. That's pretty much it. And the one big benefit is there, though, it seems like all the Nintendo games, at least, to be patched perfectly fine, so you can get 60 frames per second. So That is the one part you might think about getting one. Other than that, no. I lost interest in consoles after the PS2 era. Oh, I would love to have all the consoles, don't get me wrong, but I'm not gonna spend like hundreds and hundreds of US dollars on consoles. They have like limited amount of exclusive games and all that. God of War is for me, for example, one game I wanted to play, Ragnarok. But now that's available on PC too. I'm not gonna buy it because it's too expensive and it's on Steam. I would love it to have it on GOG. But other than that, the exclusivity of those consoles is so limited. Especially now with Xbox porting pretty much everything in the future to PC. That's their big selling point. That's why they get out of the hardware market. I'm repeating myself for sure. But you're going to get all those games for Xbox on any regular PC in the future if you install the app, Xbox gaming app. TGB also points out that consumers might experience friction with the confusing concept around game key cards. There's evidence that people are accidentally buying the wrong version of a Switch game now that some titles are available on both the current and the previous generation. Undoubtedly, some are also bristling at the notion that the key cards require you to download the game despite purchasing a physical copy, which is the case in some games, not all, of course, but you still have to have some online connectivity with most of the games. Amid all these considerations and asterisks, it's worth noting that Switch 2 numbers on the whole are promising. The console follow-up was breaking records a mere days after its release, and it's been weeks since that point. Still, there's not a simple way to slice the narrative around the console, is there? It's hard to say how this compares to Switch or competitors when Nintendo had way more units available for purchase from the get-go. Would the PS5 have fared better if people could actually find it in its first couple of years? That was a big problem for Sony and Microsoft, actually. Like, hardware was not there, not enough chips. In the scamdemic, in the peak of the scamdemic, where people all sit around and have nothing to do, couldn't go outside because government, no, it's dangerous, you're gonna kill grandma and grandpa together. And people would have spent money, but the consoles were not there really. And when you got one, you got maybe like in a higher price point and all that. So PlayStation 5 and the Xbox might have sold better. That's actually a good point by Polygon. Holy shit, right? The first Switch also had way fewer physical games at launch than its younger sibling. And Nintendo didn't make review units available for Switch 2 for major publications, including Polygon, which impacts coverage of games as publications have to scramble to write about more big-ticket items in a timely manner. Consumers may not know what's worth playing beyond Mario Kart World. Even that, I find like, is it really worth the $80? And this early on, they might not care. The racer hasn't lost its sheen yet. I don't know, man. I don't see anything amazing new in that game that you can't have fun enough still with the old Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's just not appealing enough. That's my point. Better frame rate is a game changer for a lot of sub 30 FPS Switch games. It is, but is it like $500 worth to get a Zelda game you might already have in your library online on connected to your account, right? But then you have to pay still $10 for the like patched version, for the enhanced version of, to make it playable on your Switch 2. You know, $500 plus $10 on certain games. That's a hard sell. They are not going to sell that to me, at least. You know what I mean? For these prices, no wonder why people sail the high seas for these games. Yeah, it is. If Sony did a PS6, that's basically a PS5 with modern power and preloaded with entire PS2 library, would break all sales. The problem is they don't have the licenses and to publish all those games on their system. It's not just because it was released on that system back then. Sony has the rights to them. No, that's not how it works, Nutty, unfortunately. But on the Switch, new Switch, you try that your console becomes a brick. Yeah, I talked a little bit about that, the MIG cartridge, and I'm going to come to that again on today's news. Let's finish this one. Where the heck was I? Yeah. As time goes on, the narrative around Switch 2 and the third-party options may change. People might buy Nintendo consoles for Nintendo games, but the first Switch was still a favorite repository of indie games. Then again, things worked out that way because of timing. In 2017, most major games were shacked to TVs and monitors. These days, the numbers of high-powered portable machines is becoming hard to keep track of, and there are only more coming. Yeah, I mean, main competitor is absolutely Steam, the Steam Deck, especially when you can emulate most games of Nintendo, of the Nintendo library. And if you own the game physically, like collectors have it, they're not gonna probably just play it on Switch 2 if they have it, the original, and can emulate with better graphics on a Steam Deck. But we don't know the exact numbers. We never will know because it's piracy considered to Nintendo, at least. Yeah, there you have it, man. Nintendo games doing good on Nintendo consoles so far, but how long is that gonna prevail? We don't know, because I told you the sales number are a little bit lower for the second week compared percentual wise to the Switch 1. We're gonna wait and see as usual. And you have also the original game, the game business numbers here linked to. All down below. All down below. Publications suck and are irrelevant. Yeah. I mean, you get the news here too. You know, it's the same companies for some reason. All those manufacturers and game producers, game publishers, and developers talk to those people. You know, those publications are still, in that sense, important. Otherwise, you might get all your news from X, and X is not a news portal. X is a fucking mess. X is actually cancer. Cancer for your eyes. I meant for any games that are ported to PC publications. I'm waiting for the Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, we got some news that it was already released, just silently, and somebody put up a poster, a big poster in the metro of the UK, but Nintendo said no, that's not real. It's not published. That was something else. We have to wait for Monday, I guess. Nintendo confirms Pauline's age in Donkey Kong Bonanza, leaving fans wondering whether it's a Super Mario Odyssey prequel and if Mario will appear as the potential villain. Ooh. In a character profile found on Donkey Kong Bonanza's Japanese website, Nintendo states that Pauline is a 13-year-old girl who loves to sing. She used to live above the ground, but for some reason she was brought to the underground world and transformed into a rock. If you want to know more, buy a Switch 2, buy the game, and go have fun. Many people are waiting for this game. What I saw was not exciting for me. It looks cheap, man. It looks as a game for children, absolutely. Like, children up to the age of, I would say, like 10 are gonna have a blast with this game for sure. It's completely attuned to those little human beings. I hard pass for me. It's nothing important. But yeah, there you have it. Some little information about Pauline's age. I think that's important to know. in that sense that it might be connected to Mario with Odyssey, and Mario becoming a villain. Who knows? Despite he tried to rescue Pauline in the very first Mario game, which was Donkey Kong, actually, right? Throwing those barrels to Mario, and Pauline is waiting to be rescued. And here you have the Pauline again, but younger. Story-wise, might be interesting. I don't care though. But I care to bring this information to you. 13 years old she is, and was made into a stone. Don't put this cartridge in your Nintendo Switch 2 or it will be banned from online. I already, like I said, talked a little bit about that in a previous show, in a previous newscast. And we're gonna have more and more reports that people are being banned. And this article just shows you a little bit more detailed what's gonna happen if you use a MIG cartridge. So far, the console will be banned. You can't connect to the Nintendo network anymore, so it's going to be useless for probably almost everything. And this guy, Scattered Brain, shows that even after a firmware reset, the whole console, you're not going to be able to connect. Surprise, surprise, because they banned your MAC address. The only chance you might be able to connect, I highly doubt it though, if you can change the firmware and change the MAC address and make it this way to connect. Why I doubt that this method also will work is that Nintendo has probably, most likely, 99.999%, a whole list of all MAC addresses they put in on the firmwares of their handhelds. I have little hope that they ever gonna be unbanned again. That's a problem though for many people, because you might just buy off a second hand from somebody you don't know on eBay maybe, and they don't tell you, and you just have a console that you can't really use anymore. So it's gonna be a brick. It's gonna be bricked. So your only chance from then on will be to use everything illegal in the eyes of Nintendo, by hopefully having a firmware that allows you to play all the games offline. Download some image of the whole game and play it at least offline on your system alone, single player. Other than that, you're gonna have like many people who are gonna be pissed. And Nintendo might not do the correct thing right here, banning it instantly. We're gonna see how this gonna develop in the future. Donkey Kong's banana. They married a MAC address to the device, likely too. What do you mean marry? And the device has a device ID. Yeah, that's true. I don't know what is the communication though from the device to the server, if the device always gives the device ID with them, not only the MAC ID. I don't know. I can't like check out the network traffic. Illegal ROMs. Nintendo is going to send their special ICE task force. Yeah, to ban you from the country and put you in the gulag in Siberia. Or either. Is it a bit counterintuitive? Ban them and they pirate more? Yeah, but what choice do you have at that point? If you have the choice and you can make it at least playable offline, what other choice do you have? Use it as a player for videos, for YouTube? No, you can't probably, because you most likely will be excluded from all the online services. It's just a mess. And that was one of my personal big fears about those newer consoles. They have a way too much restrictive grip around your neck. You buy hardware, but they're gonna say, yeah, it's your hardware, but Yeah, because of the software we included on it, you can't connect to any online services anymore. So, sucks to be you. Thank you for your $500. Pretty much, right? They will eventually kill their company with their own death grip. Who knows? Who knows? We have to wait. Nintendo might have enough fanboys too, and fangirls. It will take a couple more generations though. A scary warning would have been more productive. I don't know how to solve this. It is a problem because you want to protect your IP and your products, right? I see that absolutely, and I agree with Nintendo in that regard. You don't want just some people getting everything for free and you just producing games the whole time and they are not selling because they can be downloaded and played even online and all that. I see why they do that, but there must be a different way to approach this issue about the MIG cartridge. And it seems like I assume that on the server side, Nintendo is downloading the MIG cartridge themselves to make a hash, value of the content of the card. And because as soon as the card is inserted, they seem to recognize that's an illegal, in their eye, an illegal little cartridge. So I think the console is gonna make a hash of the content, and it's matching the hash on the server side, and they know, oh, it's the MIG hash. You're gonna be probably banned in the next few minutes or whatever, right? I assume something like that is actually also happen. More badish news for Nintendo. So Nintendo Switch 2 has like HDR, right? But it's not like an HDR standard, which is going with time. They should have made it like with all the HDR standards, which is HLG is one of the bigger ones, which can go normal, SDR, and HDR in the information of the picture. HDR 10 Plus should have been implemented, and VESA standards and all that. But Nintendo went like with the least smallest HDR configuration, which is just HDR 10, which doesn't tell you a lot because today's TVs might not even recognize it anymore because it's like the first standard HDR. And this article just complains about that users who have not the right HDR in their TVs implemented might have a rough and bad picture. Mainly it's this Signal edition who support HGIG, the tone mapping of this one. If it's not supported, you have to do it manually. Go look it up if you have a Switch 2. This article explains a little bit deeper. And what about if you don't have HDIG? HD TV Test recommends setting the max TML to 1000 nits and the Paperwhite to 200 nits. And that's an issue because not all HDR TVs go really to 1000 HDR nits, you know. That might be a big issue for many people. You might need a new TV, who knows. 200 nits. Though this is easier said than done if you don't have a way to view these values. Commenters on the video have pointed out that Cyberpunk 2077 will display your max TML and Paperwhite values in its game settings, just like on the PC. You have all the settings very visible, and you can adjust it quite fine adjustments doing there on PC, and they ported that settings on the Cyberpunk Switch game, which is good. Values in the game settings, though if you don't already own the game, it's an expensive way to calibrate your display. And there's so much attached to that. If your display doesn't like have settings for each channel, HDMI channel, each HDMI channel separately, you might mess up the whole picture of your TV on your regular devices, like maybe Amazon Fire Stick or Netflix or Roku, whatever. You might mess it up the picture there. So It seems like Nintendo has not thought it completely through about the HDR stuff, and people might have a TV only for your Switch, which is weird. So another little fail, in my opinion. Another little fail. To the last fail of today, after I have completed reading your stuff. Also need to check John Thunder on YouTube. He has nothing written more. They will eventually kill. Scary warning would be yes. I like consoles for multiple multiplayer because I'm not gaming on a system with potentially RCE vulnerabilities. Vulnerabilities. Autocorrection. Love it. I don't think that's a real word there. But English bad, you know.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
No, I tried though. They treat their user base as children. Funny thing is, many of them are, even the adults. Laughing my ass. Yeah, you're not too wrong on that, Godzilla. We have been infantized, or what the word really is. Should have taken an extra month to release, kept the dock to 120 frames 2K, enhanced battery to as close to 6K milliampere per hour as possible, and include the HDR 11 or 11. That's not a thing, or whatever the newer standard is. It's pretty much they should have included HLG. The problem with that is the games also need to all support all those standards too, right? You can make it only SDR, but the beauty with the HLG would be you have to do less work, you know? You just could keep it on SDR and it would be fine. If your TV or monitor supports HLG, you're gonna be absolutely golden actually. HDL, I think it's the best version, the best standard for HDR. Of course, if you have a more expensive TV, they support usually all the standards. But we have stories, we had just stories that not every TV is the same. Very much likes. Probably could have still done $399.99. Oh yeah, we had this price issue. I showed you the repair prices of the console, which is roughly $180 for the whole console without the Joy-Cons as a replacement. So where does this price point of $449.99 comes from? Get away with the Joy-Cons, it's still like $400, but the replacement is only $180. So something is not lining up there. Let's get to the last news and call it a day. I had more news, but I thought like it's a little bit lame sometimes to select certain news points, especially Fortnite, new skins. Who cares for that? Fans having fun with more Pokemon Violet and all that on Switch. Good for them, but is it really newsworthy? Or it's sometimes not easy to select. That's what my point is. Easy to select was this one though. Just because I don't really care, I just find it funny. I just find it fucking funny. Star Wars fans are debating one of the biggest unanswered questions from the sequel trilogy. What was the deal with Snoke? Many of us might be even... Who? It's just this guy. I've seen like the first movie of the trilogy. I might have seen the second one. I don't even remember because that's how much I care. And I for sure haven't seen the third one. I fuck this trilogy. Fuck the whole IP. George Lucas got paid out. He has no more saying, and he can blame Disney as much as he wants. He got billions for his work. Billions. You're not gonna be butthurt. No matter how much you cry online, you're not gonna be fucking butthurt getting billions for your work. They can do whatever they want with this now. Yeah, it's this guy, Snoke. So, what happened to him? Because he was supposedly a clone. It's been 6 years since Star Wars sequel trilogy wrapped up, but fans still have some question about one of the movie's biggest enigmas, Snoke. Snoke was introduced in The Force Awakens as the new big bad of the saga. Then he was killed off in The Last Jedi. Later, in The Rise of Skywalker, it was revealed that he was actually a strand cast created by Emperor Palpatine. Did this guy know he was a clone? Asked one fan on Reddit. Like, was he aware that he served Palpatine, or did he genuinely think he was independent and all that? I mean, fans, go for it for that question. Go solve it. I just find it interesting that Star Wars is at that point that we have major issues, even with characters, and nobody knows what's going on. And you know why nobody knows what's really going on? Because they announced so many movies, so many Rey movies, the Rey, the girl boss, and canceled it afterwards because it's not going super well for Star Wars right now. They have only Mandalorian, which was pretty successful. The rest was like from meh to bleh. Yeah, there we go. Star Wars fans, you're gonna get fucked over and over again, and you still keep supporting Disney for this slop productions. But it's up to you. Go spend money for that crap. I'm not gonna spend any cent. Heck, like I said, I haven't even seen the third movie in the trilogy, despite I download a lot of movies and just watch them illegally. And sometimes stuff is published on Amazon Prime, which I have. But I am so not interested, even for free. Just think about it. I'm talking to Disney. Think about it, Disney. You made me so disinterested in your IP that I don't even want to waste my seconds to download stuff. Just some seconds of my life to go to a website. I go usually and click on download there. I don't even want to waste my time for that. Just think about it, how far you have fallen, Disney. Time is money, yeah, but I mean, I'm doing this news also without any payment, because I like it. But you made me so disliking your IP that I don't even want to download stuff. Think about that. Think about it. And I'm for sure not the only one out there. I'm for sure not the only one out there who has the ability to download stuff, but whatever. Go shit on your own IP all day long. I don't care anymore. And then they are wondering why nobody pays for Disney Plus to watch our shit. It's because of bad story writing, sometimes bad acting, or maybe most time bad acting and all that. And way too high of prices. Way too high prices. How big is that? You forgot that they've had these APU chips for probably 2 years. I think the upscaling chip and extra cooling pushed to over 400. That doesn't explain the price of the repair units, though. Even if you add, like, on the repair units a margin of 30%, you're far away from the $400 sales price in general. Nintendo is fucking you over too. That's my main point. Don't give people who hate you as a gamer your money. Don't give people who hate you as a theater visitor your money. Just don't give people who hate you in general your money. Why would you do that? Maybe that's the reason why nobody's watching me. Now, many people today in the chat. Lovely. Love to see that. And that was pretty much it. All the articles, like usually, down below, linked. Every article, every little bit I show on screen, I link down below. Go check it out for yourself. Find out if I said something completely wrong and critique me in the comments if you want to. If you want to critique me in the chat, you can do that, of course. As long as you don't spam, you hack, you can even insult me. I don't really care. As long as you don't spam and call for violence upon others, I'm pretty okay with any chat, actually. You can do all the slurs in my chat as long as Rumble or YouTube allows it. I don't give a shit. I like to see the chat populated, giving me some shit from time to time, and calling me out if I do something wrong, completely wrong. Only that way I can grow, right? And I train my mouth to talk more clearly and better English, English important in an English show, right? Anyhow, that was it for today. It's Friday. It's the last day of the regular week. Every day, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern, I'm standing here in front of the camera and try to bring everybody some news that might be just missed, but might have some interesting talking points in the whole discussion of what we as gamers, as viewers love, but they mess it up. And with they, I mean usually the producers, the manufacturers of hardware or developer of software. If more feminazis jihaded themselves at light speed, the world would be a better place. Don't know what that has to do with anything, but okay. Feminazis. Haven't actually read that word for almost 2 weeks. I got duped into seeing a TFA in the theaters. I refuse to watch the others. There you go. But watch me next Monday or this weekend for some regular game streaming, but from Monday on 10 a.m. here. The Angry Game News. My name is Ike. This is Switzerland Play It. That was the Angry Game News. I hope I see you again. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye.